If you are over 60 and you have been drinking beet juice every morning thinking that alone is enough to support your blood pressure, your circulation, or your energy levels, I need you to stop and listen carefully. Because what I am about to tell you could completely transform what that glass does inside your body starting tomorrow. Beet juice is powerful. Nobody is debating that. The problem is what happens to beet juice once it enters the body of someone over 60. Your digestive system, your blood vessel lining, your cellular chemistry, none of it works the way it did when you were 45 or even 55. 3 age-related biological shifts quietly sabotage the very nutrients you are faithfully drinking every single morning. And the result is that you are absorbing a fraction of what you should be getting. A fraction. From the same glass that could be doing so much more. That heaviness in your legs by mid-afternoon? The tingling in your fingertips that comes and goes. Feet so cold at night you need 2 pairs of socks just to fall asleep. If you recognize any of that, it is not simply aging. It is a series of specific, measurable gaps in your body's internal chemistry. Gaps that science now shows you can fill. Today, I am revealing the 6 ingredients that seniors across the country are now adding to their morning beet juice, and more importantly, the precise biological reason each one matters for your body after 60. These are not trendy health fads. Each ingredient targets a completely different bottleneck in your vascular system. Some of them double the effectiveness of plain beet juice. One particular combination nearly triples it. And the ingredient I have saved for number 1 is something most of you have been throwing in the trash every single time you buy fresh beets. Every single time. Before we get into the countdown, I need to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments right now. Tell me, are you currently drinking beet juice plain, or have you already started adding something to it? I read every comment personally, and your responses directly influence what I research and bring to you next. Let us get started. Number 6, fresh lemon juice. I know what you're thinking. Lemon juice? That's it? But once you understand the biochemistry, you will never drink a glass of beet juice without it again. Here's exactly what happens inside your body when you swallow beet juice. The nitrates in that juice must go through a 2-step conversion process before they do anything useful. Step 1. Bacteria on the surface of your tongue convert those nitrates into nitrites. Step 2. The acid in your stomach converts those nitrites into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master molecule. It is the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax, to widen, to allow blood to flow freely to your extremities, your brain, your heart, everywhere. Now here is the critical problem no one is explaining to you. After age 60, and dramatically after 65, your stomach acid production declines by 30 to 40%. That second conversion step, the one that actually produces the nitric oxide you need, begins failing. A massive portion of those nitrites your tongue bacteria worked to create simply pass through your digestive tract unconverted, wasted. You are drinking the right thing, and your body is letting most of it slip away because the chemical environment is no longer acidic enough to finish the job. Fresh lemon juice delivers citric acid and vitamin C directly into that environment. Both compounds actively restore the acidity that conversion requires. Researchers measured nitric oxide byproducts in the blood of older adults and found that adding vitamin C to dietary nitrate intake increased measurable nitric oxide production by 33% compared to the identical nitrate dose without it. 33% more benefit from the exact same glass of juice. Simply by squeezing in a lemon. Here is your protocol. Squeeze 1 full lemon into your beet juice immediately before drinking. Allow the mixture to sit for 60 seconds. That brief contact time lets the citric acid prime the conversion environment before the liquid even reaches your stomach. Do this every single morning without exception. Number 5. Raw garlic. 1 to 2 cloves, crushed and blended directly into the juice. What garlic does when paired with beet juice involves a mechanism that most people, including many healthcare providers, are completely unaware of. Consider this real scenario. A 69-year-old retired school administrator. 3 years of progressively worsening circulation in her lower legs. By evening, her feet were ice cold, regardless of the temperature in her home. She had been drinking beet juice religiously for over a year. Modest improvement, but the cold feet never went away. She began adding 2 crushed raw garlic cloves to her morning blend. Within 6 weeks, the nightly cold episodes reduced by more than half. At her next vascular appointment, her physician noted measurable improvement in peripheral blood flow and asked what she had changed. Here is the science. The moment you crush a raw garlic clove, it produces a compound called allicin. Allicin directly inhibits an enzyme called ADMA, asymmetric dimethyl-arginine. Think of ADMA as a biological brake pedal pressed down on your nitric oxide production. After age 70, ADMA levels climb by approximately 25% above normal adult levels. That is one of the primary biochemical reasons your nitric oxide declines so sharply with age. It has nothing to do with your diet, your exercise habits, or anything else you are doing right. Beet juice delivers the raw material for nitric oxide. Garlic releases the brake that has been silently preventing that material from working. Researchers found that combined nitrate and allicin intake in adults over 65 produced a 28% greater improvement in arterial flexibility compared to nitrate alone over a 12-week period. Here is how to use it properly. Crush 2 raw cloves and let them rest for 10 minutes after crushing. This rest period maximizes allicin production through enzyme activation. Then blend them into your juice and consume on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. ADMA levels peak during overnight fasting. Garlic's inhibitory effect is most powerful at exactly that moment. The timing matters enormously. Number 4. Pure, unsweetened, raw cacao powder. Cacao contains the highest known dietary concentration of flavanols, specifically a compound called epicatechin, that activate nitric oxide production through a completely separate biological route from the one beet juice uses. This is called the endothelial pathway.
Let me give you an analogy that makes this perfectly clear. Beet juice is a fuel delivery truck, bringing raw material to your vascular cells. Cacao flavanols are a factory upgrade, increasing the production capacity of the cells that process that fuel. When you combine both, the output does not just add together, it compounds, it multiplies. Researchers analyzing a major cocoa trial that followed over 21,000 participants found that regular flavanol-rich cacao consumption was associated with a 32% reduction in cardiovascular mortality, with the benefit most pronounced in adults over 70. A separate mechanistic study found a synergistic nitric oxide response 58% greater than either compound alone in adults averaging 71 years of age.
After 75, your endothelial cells lose approximately 35% of their nitric oxide synthase activity. Cacao flavanols are among the very few dietary compounds shown to partially restore that lost enzymatic function. Not merely slow the decline, partially reverse it. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder to your blend. Never use Dutch processed cocoa. The alkalizing treatment used in Dutch processing destroys up to 90% of the flavanol content. Also add a small pinch of black pepper. The piperine in black pepper inhibits the enzyme that breaks down flavanols during digestion, extending their biological activity by up to 2 additional hours in your bloodstream. Now pause here before the top 3. Lemon, garlic, and cacao all work on the same primary system. They increase nitric oxide through 3 different entry points along the same production pathway. What comes next at numbers 3, 2, and 1 works on entirely different biological systems. Systems that beet juice alone, no matter how much you drink, cannot touch. Even if you have been doing everything perfectly up to this point, these next 3 ingredients activate mechanisms your circulation currently has zero access to. If this is reaching you for the first time, if nobody has ever told you that your plain beet juice is operating at half capacity without these additions,
hit the like button right now. Every other adult over 60 struggling with cold hands, heavy legs, and declining circulation will only find this video if you engage with it. And if you are not already subscribed, subscribe now. Every week, I bring you research calibrated specifically to the biology of adults over 60. Not generic wellness content, your biology, your decade, your solutions. Now the top 3. Number 3. Fresh ginger root, grated raw, never powdered. Ginger works through a science called hemorrheology, which is the study of blood viscosity or thickness. After age 75, blood viscosity increases by an estimated 18% above normal adult levels. Your red blood cells become stiffer, less flexible, less able to squeeze through the tiny capillaries that supply your fingers, your toes, your ears, and every extremity where you notice the cold first. Picture the difference between water and slightly thickened syrup being pushed through a narrow straw. Even a small increase in thickness produces a dramatic drop in flow rate. That is exactly what is happening inside your capillary beds every single day. And you feel it. Beet juice dilates the channels. Ginger thins the fluid moving through them. One targets the pipe, the other targets what flows inside the pipe. Two completely independent mechanisms attacking the same circulation problem from different angles simultaneously. Ginger's active compounds, gingerols and shogaols, inhibit thromboxane A2 synthesis, the specific biochemical process responsible for causing platelets to clump together and blood to thicken. A randomized controlled trial found that adults over 65 consuming therapeutic doses of fresh ginger showed a 23% reduction in platelet aggregation within just 4 weeks. When combined with beet juice nitrates, researchers described the peripheral circulation improvement as exceeding what simple addition would predict, a genuine biological synergy. Grate 1 to 2 inches of fresh ginger root directly into your blend. Consume the full mixture immediately before a 10 to 15-minute walk. Physical movement activates gingerol compounds more rapidly, and the combination of mechanical circulation from walking with the pharmacological effect of the drink produces compounding benefits that persist for several hours after both stimuli have ended. Number 2. L-arginine powder. L-arginine is the direct molecular precursor for nitric oxide production inside your vascular endothelial cells. It is literally the raw material your cells physically consume to manufacture every single molecule of nitric oxide your body produces. Think about what you have built so far in this glass. Lemon restored the acidic conversion environment. Garlic released the ADMA brake. Cacao upgraded your endothelial production capacity. Ginger thinned the blood those cells are responsible for moving. But every factory, no matter how well upgraded, can only produce as much as its raw material supply allows. L-arginine is that supply. Without enough of it, the entire upgraded system sits idle. Supply limited, starving for material. Let me tell you about a real case. A 76-year-old retired librarian. 5 years of worsening peripheral circulation. Her hands had become so unreliable in cold weather that she had stopped gardening entirely, something she had done every single spring for over 30 years. Her morning beet juice helped, but not enough. She added 3 grams of L-arginine powder to her daily blend. Within 8 weeks, she reported the first full week without numbness episodes in over 2 years. Within 4 months, her physician documented measurable improvement in peripheral perfusion and actually reduced one of her circulation medications based on the clinical findings. Researchers found that L-arginine supplementation in adults over 65 with peripheral vascular compromise produced a 22% improvement in walking distance over 12 weeks, with the benefit most pronounced when taken alongside dietary nitrate sources, meaning beet juice specifically. After 70, the enzyme responsible for recycling L-arginine within your vascular cells declines by approximately 20%. Your body requires significantly more L-arginine just to maintain the same baseline nitric oxide output it generated effortlessly 2 decades ago. The supply line has thinned, and virtually nobody knows. 3 to 5 grams of pure, unflavored L-arginine powder stirred into your complete blend daily. The vascular effects are cumulative, building sustained plasma levels over 4 to 6 weeks of consistent use. Never take it within 2 hours of a high-fat meal. Dietary fats transiently spike ADMA, the same break garlic inhibits. The garlic already present in your blend simultaneously neutralizes that spike. The pairing is synergistic for exactly that reason. Number 1. The ingredient you have almost certainly been throwing away every single time you prepare your beet juice. Think back to the last time you bought fresh whole beets at the grocery store or farmer's market. What did you do with the leafy green tops attached to them? If you are like the vast majority of people watching this right now, you pulled them off and dropped them straight into the garbage without a second thought. You may have done this dozens of times, hundreds of times. I want you to sit with that for a moment, because from a vascular nutrition standpoint, you have been discarding the single most cardiovascularly powerful part of the entire beet plant every single time you made your juice. Beet greens contain a compound called betaine, also known as trimethylglycine, in concentrations 3 to 4 times higher than the beetroot itself. Betaine does not dilate blood vessels directly. It does not thin the blood. It works through an entirely different pathway, one that makes every single other ingredient on this list perform more powerfully inside your body. Betaine is the most potent dietary reducer of homocysteine found in any natural food source. Homocysteine is an amino acid that accumulates in your blood as you age. Elevated homocysteine acts like a corrosive acid on the inner lining of your arteries. It creates microscopic inflammation. It triggers plaque accumulation. It progressively destroys the arterial flexibility that nitric oxide depends on to produce vasodilation. You can have perfect nitric oxide levels, and if your arterial walls are stiff and inflamed from homocysteine damage, that nitric oxide has nowhere to do its work. The signal arrives, the walls cannot respond. Every ingredient before this one has been working to produce and deliver nitric oxide to your arterial walls. Betaine repairs the walls themselves. The factory was supplied. The brake was released. The capacity was upgraded. The blood was thinned. The raw materials were delivered. Number 1 restores the structural integrity of the building the entire system operates inside. After 65, homocysteine levels rise significantly in the majority of adults. It is now recognized as one of the strongest independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease, stroke, and peripheral artery disease in older populations. And most people never hear about it during a routine appointment. Researchers found that betaine supplementation equivalent to 2 to 3 servings of beet greens reduced plasma homocysteine by an average of 11% over 6 weeks. A study examining the combination of dietary nitrates with betaine in adults over 65 found that participants consuming both showed a 47% greater improvement in endothelial function compared to those consuming nitrates alone. The mechanism is elegant. Homocysteine damages the endothelial cells where nitric oxide is produced. Betaine clears the homocysteine. Beet juice nitrates then have a structurally intact, inflammation-free arterial surface to act upon. You are not just supplying the system, you are restoring its capacity to respond. Blend the greens from 2 to 3 fresh beets directly into your juice. If your beets come without the tops attached, look for beet green powder in supplement form, approximately 500 milligrams per teaspoon. Add it to your complete blend alongside lemon, garlic, cacao, ginger, and L-arginine. Under 5 minutes to prepare. 6 non-overlapping biological mechanisms addressed simultaneously in a single glass. Drink the complete preparation 90 minutes before your most physically demanding activity of the day. The nitric oxide peak occurs at approximately 90 minutes, aligning precisely with the window when your peripheral circulation benefits most from maximum vasodilatory support. If you are 63 or 71 or 77 or 82 years old and your circulation has been quietly declining year after year, if your legs ache by mid-afternoon, your hands go cold without warning, Your feet go numb at night. Your walking distance has shrunk so gradually you barely noticed until it was half what it once was. And you have been told that this is simply what getting older looks like. The research does not support passive acceptance of that trajectory. Your circulation is not permanently broken. It is nutrient depleted, enzymatically undersupported, substrate limited in specific, measurable ways that targeted dietary interventions directly and measurably address. Every ingredient on this list was studied in adults your age. Every effect described was measured using the same clinical tools your cardiologist uses. None of this is theoretical. None of this is speculation. The people on this channel are not the ones who accepted "just manage it" as a final answer. They decided that answer was not good enough. They decided their body deserved better. If that is you, subscribe now. Every week, research built specifically for your biology, your decade, your body. Tell me in the comments which ingredient surprised you most and which combination you are starting with tomorrow morning. I read every single response personally. Your arteries are waiting for what they have been missing. What you add to that glass tomorrow morning may be the most consequential decision you make for your vascular health this entire year. If this video helped you today, please share it. Not for the algorithm, for someone you actually care about. A parent, a spouse, a neighbor, a friend whose hands are always cold and who has been told there is nothing more to do about it. And if this reached you, help us reach more people who need to hear exactly this, because this is precisely what thousands of adults over 60 need to know, and nobody is telling them.